Hello, guys. Welcome back to Be on the Checkered Flag. It's Taylor here today for episode 12, and we have a special guest. If you guys remember, we did a competition a couple months ago for our 300 followers, and the winner was obviously Olivia, and that's who we have today. Olivia, firstly, how are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Amazing. I'm good, thank you. Just to start off, just a general, when do you think you started watching racing?
Oh God, years ago. I think my mum and dad, they've always been crazy about it, and they've always been part of like the car scene in general. So I'd probably say since I could walk and talk, pretty
Oh,
much.
that's brilliant. And what was the first series that you remember watching?
Touring cars, the British touring
Touring
cars. I've been
cars.
going
I
since
love.
2012.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's sick.
through thick and
And
thin.
yeah, and literally, I think it's one of the best series out there. But
Oh yeah.
maybe I'm biased. Who knows? Um, who obviously you've been doing a lot on like social media, and you did this whole thing with Formula E as well. We'll get to that at one
Yeah.
point. But what kind of inspired you to get to like to start doing this, to start posting and doing all that? What kind of got you to that position?
I think just my general love for motorsport kind of fueled it. And
Mm.
obviously with TikTok coming about and I was a musically baby, I'm just gonna put my hands up and throw it right here. But I love motorsports. It's been my favourite thing since I was young. And I just wanted to start meeting more people. And I thought, you know what, social media is a really good way of connecting with people. So I've just started posting and then career wise thinking about all my thing with social media. I've always loved being in front of a camera and I've always loved talking, which explains why I'm such a chatterbox. But I've loved it and like they tied in perfectly. So I was like, do you know what? I really like what I'm doing and I want to do it further. So yeah, that's kind of just how I started and how it's gone along now. I'm still doing what I'm doing, and about 4 years later, I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I do find it quite crazy, like to think how many people you actually meet in situations like this,
Oh yeah, without
especially like on motorsport TikTok is crazy. Like how many friends you can make.
yeah,
Like
it
it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's really nice.
it is. It is
Um,
good. We are a good community.
yeah, 100%. Obviously, there's like bad sides, but there's bad
The
bits to
selective few.
but like I feel like you get that in every community, no matter where you are. So
There's always a
for
negative
what,
and a positive.
100%. But obviously we're in December now. What has your year looked like in terms of racing? Like what have you been doing? What have you watched?
It's been busy, very
Yeah.
busy. Obviously, starting it off Formula E. Been watching that all year, pretty much since the first round. Then obviously Formula One started, so I've been watching that, and then British GT. I've pretty much named a championship, and I've probably watched it this year. But I attended. So actually, in March for International Women's Day, I got invited by Formula E to go to the Jaguar headquarters, which was quite cool. We got to learn
Wow.
loads there, and again, that's another thing with like connecting with people. And then in the May, because April was pretty quiet, except for actually no, I went to the touring car testing. Didn't really do
Hmm.
that. I just looked at the cool cars. But then May rolled around, and it was touring cars. I went to the Brands Hatch race, and then yeah, just building up to because I knew I was going to the F1 because that was one of my Christmas presents because we always do the Friday. So I was getting prepared for that. I was making my little friendship bracelets as I went on through the year, and yeah, just watching throughout the year, so many different championships. Posting social. Oh my god, social media. It's been a long day. Social media, and then obviously going to places because you're not going to meet anyone without going to races, or you're not going to meet anyone without going anywhere. So I went to as many things as I could, even including car meets, because you never know who you're talking to when you go to places like that. So yeah, then I went to touring cars again for Brands Hatch because I try and go every year if I can.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Formula E in July. Yeah, yeah, July. MotoGP in August. And then the last few months where it's coming into winter now, obviously all the things are slowing down, all the seasons coming to an end. But then Formula E kicks back off again and I'm back on Formula E now. So even more of that. That's pretty much what my years look like, just going places and yeah.
That's crazy. You've been to so much in a year.
I know,
That's
it is
absolutely
crazy.
mental. And it's
And
like crazy to think that we've been to the same stuff and just not known it.
I
Like
know.
I went to both of those brands races for touring cars as well.
Oh my
Like
god.
we could have easily seen each other and just
I
not
know.
known.
I know.
That's,
That
and with Formula E, how did that come about? How did it get to the point where they invited you there?
well, I've been watching Formula E for a few years now. And I didn't know because I only joined Girls on Track last year, and I didn't know that they did this like program thing with Formula E. So I entered it when the thing went, like the applications went live, and I got accepted for it. I was like, okay, cool, first Formula E race, going with FIA and Motorsport UK, and that kind of kicked my love for it a bit more as well. And I connected with loads of people, and obviously going to events as well. Interviewing people, I got connections, and then it got to a point where I'd worked and like put so much effort into my social media that they'd recognized it a few times. And I'm quite friendly with one of the girls who do the Girls on Track thing, the commercial operations. And they say it's not who you know. No, no. By the way, it's what you know, not who. Oh my god, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's who you know. But yeah, she had with it. And she was like, we want to invite you down because you're really passionate about a career in motorsport, so we want to try and help you out as much as we can with that. And obviously representing Girls on Track as well, I think played a big part in it. Oh my god, I need to spell so much. Yeah, I think that as well is quite a big factor of it. I got to represent people, and it was as well where it was a big thing with careers in motorsport booming as well, like it has been on social media. So I got to work with Alexa Rendell for a day, which was quite fun. I got to do track. But yeah, and I learned so much about presenting. Like honestly, it was insane how much you can fit into your brain in one day and learn. But yeah, I got invited down by her, Imi at Formula E, and obviously I'd been to an event in the year with them, which was the Jaguar. So she could already tell, like, Liv's got this. Well, I hope so anyway. But yeah, I met her last year, and I think just keeping in touch with people is quite good as well, which I think is kind of how it rolled around, and then that's how the ball fell in. I looked everything up.
That's absolutely crazy. Could you tell us just a little bit more about Girls on Track? Because obviously it is becoming a bigger thing, but I don't think it's talked about enough. I don't think people really know how to get into it. So if you could explain that, that would be perfect.
Yeah, so Girls on Track, so I don't know if you've heard of FIA Women in Motorsport, that initiative, but it's kind of like a sister house for that. And it's another initiative that aims to give help and inspire young girls or women to get into motorsport. And like, you can kick off a career in motorsport. This is who you need to meet, this is what you need to do, and this is how we can help you. And they lift it up as well. Like, even if you just want to join it and you want to watch motorsports, or if you want to get into motorsports because you found a new hobby for it, they help so much. And they've got everything. Like, they've got webinars, like you can meet people in motorsport, and obviously they've got the in real life events for networking, and it just really helps getting a career in motorsport and learning more about motorsport in general. And it's really, really good, and I do recommend everyone joins it. It's really good.
That's perfect. Thank you. Out of like the year you've had, or actually, let's in general, all of your time in motorsports, what has been the biggest pinch me moment for you in your career?
Jeez, what a question.
I know it's hard. It's hard to
It is.
narrow it down.
I think I have two here, but one last year I went to the British GT with Ted Tracks Racing. They wanted me to go with them for the Sunday, and I got to do the grid walk with them, which was quite like, am I actually here? Pinch me if I'm here. And then obviously the Formula E is a massive, massive, massive pinch me moment, because I was like, am I actually like doing this? Is this actually like what it's going to be like? And yeah, being on the track walk and then being on the podium the next day, like it was, I was like, what is going on? Like I couldn't function. I couldn't speak. I was like, I just kept saying things back to front. I was like, this is amazing. But yeah, that's probably my biggest pinch me moments.
Yeah, that's so brilliant. I don't think being on the grid is such an unreal thing.
Oh yeah.
Like genuinely, because I was on the grid for one of the BTCC races just to like before the race started,
Yeah.
and literally I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I
I
was
know,
just, I
you
was just
don't know
like,
what to
how
do.
do I move? I was like, what am I meant to do right now?
Yeah.
It's such a I completely understand how that's so high up. That's such a crazy like
It is
experience to have.
such a different atmosphere as well. So see, when you go to a race, you're usually either in a grandstand or you're in a general admission or you're just in a paddock alone. Being on the grid, that's like a lifetime thing. Like not
Yeah.
many people get to do that often, except if you're a team member, obviously. But they're just there because they work there. But yeah, it is such a memorable thing as well. And I just remember being on there with my mum because my mum and dad came along with me. And we lost my dad halfway through the grid walk. He was off. But me and my mum, I was like, Mum, this is insane. Like,
Mhm.
what do we do? We just look at the cars as we walk by. Yeah, it was really cool. I got to hold one of the signs as well, and it had my race number on it. It had
Oh, shut
27
up.
on it. So yeah, I got to hold that, which is pretty cool. And I've actually got a photo.
Yeah,
It'll take me ages to find it, but yeah, I got to hold the sign as well in front of a McLaren, which is quite cool. So that was
that's so
nice.
crazy. I completely understand. Obviously, have you been kept up with the F1 season this year? Did you watch
Kind
it?
of. I have been watching every race because I call myself
Mhm.
a fan, so I'm gonna live up to that name. But I think now I'm moving away from F1 a little bit.
Yeah,
I think more coming over to Formula E and touring cars and GT. But I
yeah,
have been keeping up. Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, why have we?
yeah.
How have we ended up with like 8 different race winners
What
at
did
this
you
point?
think of this season, like overall?
Chaos,
You
absolute chaos. But
could
it's
say
been
that about the last race, let alone the whole season.
oh yeah, just F1 in a nutshell, chaos. But
Yeah.
it's honestly, it's been a good season though. Like we've seen a lot of battles going
Mhm.
ahead. Like we've got Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris going into a battle for P2 in the championship in Abu Dhabi, and I like it. I don't like it when a driver wins the championship during the season. I like it when it comes down to a last race battle, like it did in touring cars and like it did in
Oh
Formula
my
E.
God.
I was so happy when Jake won. I
So
was
was
so
I.
I'm not even lying because I couldn't go on the Sunday and I was really gutted. I was just sitting there when he won and I was like, I'm crying. Like there is physical tears running down my face. But yeah, it's been chaos this season.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
And about the last race, obviously you're a McLaren fan. I'm assuming you support both drivers.
Oh yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay. What was your opinion on the penalty for Norris?
Oh, I'm gonna get shouted at for this if I say the wrong thing. um,
No, you're allowed your opinion. It doesn't matter
yes,
what
I'm
anyone
allowed
else
my
says.
opinion. Don't shout at me though. I do think, like failing to slow under a yellow flag, it is a given penalty, it's a safety rule. But I do think a penalty and points on a license, I think it's a bit harsh from
Yeah.
the FIA, if I'm honest. Like, yeah, it was a penalty, safety point, okay, straight there, slap bang 5. But a 10 stop and go and 3 points on a license, I think that's a bit harsh.
Yeah,
Even
I
if,
agree.
because they can give out penalties for that, but they can't send their marshals to get a wing mirror off the track.
I'm so happy you said that. I completely agree. I don't know how that happened, if I'm honest.
I know.
Like the commentators kept saying like they should do something about that. They should do something about that, and they
Like,
just
at least
didn't.
put debris on track flags out.
Yeah,
The big red and yellow flags are there for a reason, people. If you can't see that wing mirror that has given one driver a puncture, let alone 2,
yeah, I know. It's completely insane.
it is.
But that was a mental race, but we've definitely had crazier this season.
Oh, yes.
What was your favorite, do you think?
Oh, my God, you've got some really good questions. Well, I've always loved night races and I've always loved Singapore, but I probably have to go Silverstone because of a Lewis Hamilton race win. And I love to see a home driver win at a home Grand Prix. It's just like it's
Yeah, I agree.
special. But yeah,
I
probably
literally cried.
Silverstone and Spa because I love Spa.
Oh, Spa. That's
Extremely.
yeah, that's interesting. I do agree with you. Watching a driver like Lewis win I's home race was the most emotional thing I think I've watched this year.
Yeah.
Other than like Charles winning in Monaco, it's like the
Oh,
same thing, isn't
Monaco.
it?
Why didn't I say Monaco? Yes, Monaco.
Like all of them just like literally gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
I know,
It
honestly.
was so good. Now I've got a bit of a random question, and it
Honestly.
might take you some time to think.
Oh God.
But if if you was given the choice to have dinner with five drivers, dead or alive, for an evening, who would you choose?
Any championship or F1?
Any championship. Let's go any championship.
Okay, so 5 drivers. Well, I'm going to try and do one from each championship that I watch. So the first one, probably Alain Menu from Super Touring. He's absolute star. Then F1, Jesus. Probably Lewis Hamilton.
Mm.
Oh God, British GT. Oh God. Well, I mean Jessica Hawkins. She raced in British GT, so probably Jessica Hawkins. And then F1 Academy, Abby Pullen,
Mm-hmm.
because I love Abby Pullen. I've been supporting her for ages. And then, oh my God, I'm on 4. I need a 5th one. Formula
Scan the
E.
room.
Yeah, Formula E, probably Sebastian Buemi.
Nice. That's quite a diverse group.
Yeah, very.
If you're an Abby fan, obviously, how did you find her winning the championship last weekend?
Oh, I was so proud of her. Like, she's a very talented driver. Very talented.
Unreal.
Like, people obviously, like, well, I say people. Some say that women don't have potential. Put Abby Pullen in an F1 car and see what she can do. Because she's gone and won that championship. I think she was like, what, 95 points clear?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 95. Like, if she can build that much of a gap, she's just proved that she can do it again. Like, she's a very, very talented driver, and I was so, so proud of her when I was watching it. Because I met her briefly at Brands Hatch, and I was, like, you're such a good driver. And she was like, thank you, thank you. Like, she's so kind as well. Like, she's one of the sweetest souls ever. But yeah, she deserved it as well. Like, she works her butt off every weekend.
I think it'll be quite interesting to see her in GB3 next season.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, like because all of the people that she's driving against now are moving up. Basically, like a lot of the British F4 drivers have moved up to GB3.
Yeah,
or they're starting to. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what like the standings are like at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have Deegan moving up. So is Alex Ninovich.
Yes.
So it'll be I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I.
And also, I don't know if you've seen, do you watch GB3?
I've watched it a fair few times this year, yeah. So I went to the British GT.
I'm not sure if is the British GT. So next year, the last GB3 race is at Monza.
Oh yeah.
Is GT there as well, or is this just a separate thing?
I think it's a separate thing. Because obviously British GT, I know British GT go to Spa.
Yeah, because I didn't know if they went to races because GB3 is all over the place next season.
Yeah, I've seen it is everywhere. Yeah, I think it is its own thing for Monza because I don't think I've ever heard of British GT going to Monza. Only the
that's what I thought.
World GT. So I don't know if they'll be supporting them. Maybe. But
maybe.
I think.
But I just thought that'd be such a good race. I'm gonna try my best to go because I love Monza so much.
So do I. It's a track on my fitness.
as you can tell.
Yeah, I love that. I've got I don't know if you can see it. I've got a Monaco like metal sign up there.
I love that. Oh my God.
One of the drive.
I do love Monaco. It's a very iconic race.
Yeah, I've got
But
two stuff in here.
literally, all people tell me is they think that like a race has thrown up on my walls because literally everywhere you look is something racing related.
Yeah, I've got like 40 odd hats in here. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm only at like 11, but it's growing, so I'm
If you
getting
want some, just shout.
there.
I've
Pretty.
got loads here, honestly.
So moving on, what do you think is the hardest part about trying to start a career in motorsports?
I think definitely age factors into it. Because
Hmm.
obviously, if you want to be something like a photographer or like media, any media based, like what I want to do, age plays a big part in it because obviously, if you're a pit lane reporter, you're going to be in the pit lane, you need insurance, you're going to have the proper accreditation, and then applying for the accreditation and things like that. And obviously, like money as well, I think, because you're going to need to fly out to places, you're going to need the best tech and like microphones or camera lenses and stuff. And I think as well, connections, because
Mm.
a lot and the access that you get. There's a lot of championships now. Like I noticed this year when I went to the F1 because I went in 2022, and the roving grandstands there was so much. Like there was so many grandstands open. But then this year they've put loads of fences up, and you can't get into them grandstands anymore. So I think limiting the access that you can get,
Mhm.
that's quite a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
But I think overall as well, who you can talk to, and if you talk to people, be careful of what you say. You don't want to be put on the wrong foot.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think as well who because you want to be approached by people. You don't have to like keep resending and resending emails, even if that's what it takes. I mean, my inbox is just like my outbox and stuff is full. But yeah, I think as well as that for women in motorsport, that's quite a big
Hmm.
thing
Yeah, 100%.
because there's stereotypes, there's statistics, but I think yeah, all of them come in a big part of it, and how I think another massive bit is your dedication to it. Like if you want it badly, you'll work for it badly. So I think because obviously if you're in school and stuff and you're doing your GCSEs or you're in college or if you're in uni, you're not going to have that much time.
Yeah.
If you're out of them, you're going to need the dedication to get to places because that's what teams are going to pick up on. Your loyalty, your commitment, your dedication, and yeah, I think they all play a big factor in it.
Yeah. I think like looking back on what you said about like accessibility, that's why I think when you want a career in motorsports, you need to look further than F1
Oh
because F1 is so incredibly hard. Like it's expensive just to get general admission, let alone talking to people that you need to talk to. That's why I think races like BTCC are
oh
so
yeah,
much more approachable. Like obviously at brands it's different because the garages are in the middle of the track. But
oh
like when you go to places like let me think off the top of my head, like Donington,
yeah. I was
like
about
you can just walk down and see everyone, and then like in the F4 sections and like the Porsches, it's so easy to talk to the right people.
it is.
And like if you become a familiar face, then it's not going to hurt you.
No,
All it's going to
it's
do
a
is
good
make
thing.
it easier and easier for you.
Yeah,
So I completely agree with that. And obviously for women it is harder, but I kind of feel like that's changing a bit more. Obviously there's still that stereotype that has not managed to disappear yet,
yeah,
but a lot more teams are trying to push on that, which I think is a really positive thing.
yeah.
Like drivers like Lewis, like he's been at so many of the F1 Academy races.
Oh yeah.
They're all there. They all could go and watch it, but they don't.
Um,
But Lewis is so dedicated to stuff like that, which I find so good, like of
yeah.
him. But moving on, if you saw yourself 2 years ago and like you got to tell yourself what you've been able to achieve in the last 2 years, Like, what is that like for you? Because obviously some things like this, opportunities just come up all of a sudden. So what would you say to yourself 2 years ago, who's unaware of what they're about to like achieve?
Is give yourself more time. Don't rush things. Patience is a virtue, and it will get you places. And I think just, yeah, patience. Give yourself time to, be up there. Don't try and rush things out. Don't try and like pile things up. And manage your social skills. Get it together. I think I honestly, 2 years ago, if you met me, I would literally just look at you, wave and walk away. I was so bad at talking to people. Yeah, that and work hard. Telling that to everyone, work hard because you're gonna need it and it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay its debt.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you. Now, looking onto next year, what are the predictions in anything you want to talk about in your career, in racing in general, like Formula One or BTCC? What do you see coming out of next season?
Oh god. Well, touring cars, I'm hoping for another Jake win or another Ash. I'd love for him to get another
Oh
one.
my God, that would be unreal.
I've been Ash since he joined. So literally,
Yeah.
I've been here every step. And then career-wise, it's kind of more hopes than predictions, but I hope to get to a lot more places when I can because I'm leaving school this year. I'm going to college, and I think, yeah, just get to more places. And a prediction, Formula E. I'm going to predict that I'm going to London without a doubt. But because honestly, since 2023, when I went with Girls on Track, has changed my life. So I think, yeah, predictions. I'm going to try and get to a few more FE races.
Yeah, I haven't been to a Formula E race,
Oh
but I
yeah,
really want to.
it's
And
so
I
good.
know, like, because Zane Maloney is like one of my all-time favorite F2 drivers, and now he's going into Formula E. I'm like, right, I wanted to get into it. This needs to be my motivation to start watching because I need to support him. Do you think, like, obviously, do you have you watched like Formula 2, Formula 3
Briefly, yeah, I've watched
briefly?
Formula 2 more than I think Formula 3.
Yeah. So how much of a struggle do you think that's going to be jumping from something like Formula 2 to Formula E? Is like, will it be much different, do you think, or do you think it'll be
Well, I'm interviewing Taylor Bernard on Thursday, so that's actually one of my questions for him. Yeah, no one knows that yet. So
You'll have to tell me when that comes out so I don't release this until that is
yeah, well, I'm
news.
interviewing him on Thursday, and then McLaren are providing the recording. So it'll probably be. I mean, you can post it after it's been recorded. I'll let you know when it's been recorded, and then you can.
Okay.
But,
I don't want to spoil it for you.
no, honestly, I'm planning on posting it in a bit, anyways. But yeah, that's actually one of my questions to him. But I don't think Zane Maloney. I thought has he tested an FE car yet? Is it from testing?
Well, I know that he's not doing the last race because of Formula E,
Yeah, because that starts this
because
weekend.
that's this week. He must have done tests if he's starting it. No.
I think he was doing the test in. Well, it was supposed to be in Valencia, but moved to Madrid. But I think obviously going from combustion, you've got that more pull as you're going off. With Formula E, it's electric, so you're literally just gonna plow out and you're gonna go when you go. But I think as well with the different feels of the car, I don't know if it's going to be any different, but obviously different kind of style of racing as well, different tracks, except from Mexico and a few others, I think. But yeah, I think just adjusting to that and the different feels of the cars. Obviously, they only have one tyre compound in Formula E, and they don't change the tyres during the race. Obviously, where they can have pit stops during a Formula 2 race, how he's going to try and manage that tyre management and try and wear them down too much. And battery as well, because they went down really quick in a Formula E race.
So it'll be a lot to learn then, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be as well, because obviously I think there's a few F2 coming up. I know David Beckman's coming up,
Hmm.
Formula E. Obviously Taylor from McLaren, and then I'm sorry if you can hear any background noise. My mum's got her friend round for dinner. I've tried to close my door, but yeah. As well as that, it's going to be a lot to learn because no one's going to come in their first season and win, or you've got to be
Yeah, 100%.
like there's a lot to learn. Different championship, different car, different people, different driving styles, and yeah, good things take time. So I think there's going to definitely be a lot to learn in that.
Yeah. Now, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Or where do you want to see yourself? Maybe that's a better question.
Where do I want to see? Well, hopefully in a Formula One paddock, but let's
Hmm.
be realistic.
That could be realistic.
It could
You have no
be.
idea. If you're already interviewing people like Taylor Barnard, then
Yeah.
I think you're doing well.
I do you know what? I really, really hope so. But I want to see myself in 10 years successful. Obviously, everyone wants to be successful, but also living out my dream ever since I was a little kid. Sitting next to a Ferrari at 2 years old. So just just living out that dream of always wanting to work around cars because as well as motorsport, I also work with my dad on cars sometimes. We build, well, I say we build, we're building a track car at the moment, building an E46 M3, which is quite fun.
Oh,
So, yeah, I just want to be around cars, pretty much. Just cars of any type, electric or with engines, I do not mind, but just being there, if you know what I mean, like in the moment with it all.
yeah, that's really nice. And like, obviously, the dream for most people is F1, but is there any other series that you think would be like a dream to work in?
Oh, touring
Yeah,
cars and Formula E.
this
Honestly,
is a common theme for us. I love this.
yes.
We need
Honestly,
more BTCC girls, please, because there's not enough
honestly,
of us.
I know. I mean, there was quite a few girls that I saw when I was there in May. There was
Yeah.
loads there, but yeah, I think just touring cars is a dream because obviously I've always followed it, and then with Formula E, where I've got so much more into it, and I know what I'm doing there, and I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just in Formula E and touring cars and F1, hopefully, fingers crossed.
And like obviously as you're getting into like interviewing people, how was getting used to that? Because obviously it's going to be so terrifying at first. Like even for myself,
Oh,
I it's so scary doing things like this. So how have you been able to like adapt on that and be able to get to where you are?
well, my first like kind of interview that I did at a track
Hmm.
was last year at the touring car finale. I interviewed one of the BMW Good Girls on their take on women in motorsport, and I think just trying to feel as comfortable as you can in an environment, not caring what other people think. Like this is what I want to do. Why? Except if it's positive, obviously, I'm going to care. Like these people like this. But if it's negative, they're not relevant to my career. Like this is what I want to do. They're not going to play a part in this. And yeah, I think just feeling comfortable in the environment, feeling confident in yourself, and being familiar with everything there. And I think it's just where I said earlier, I'm a chatterbox. So I just natter away sometimes. And I think as well, I practice a lot of the times and I don't mess things up. And you should see my notes when I'm planning a video. I plan deep. I even have like segments of seconds of how long I want this to take. And if it doesn't, I go over and over and over and over until I get it right. But yeah, I think just preparing yourself, like they say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I think, and yeah, just being comfortable around everyone because no one's going to judge you at the end of the day, and if they do, so what? Who cares what they think?
Yeah. I also feel like one thing that people struggle with, including myself, like I'm not even gonna lie, is that fear of them saying no. Like it's so hard to put yourself out there and talk to people when you think that they're just gonna turn you down, because most of the time they won't.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's always that fear, isn't it?
yeah.
And I think it's just something that you have to kind of learn and adapt to. Otherwise, if you don't put yourself out there, it's just not gonna happen, is it?
yeah, you're not going to go anywhere if you don't go there first. That's
Hmm.
that's what I live by anyway. Like, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't go to the place first. But I think, yeah, just the worst they can say is no. And
Hmm.
obviously, they're going to want as much exposure as possible. And obviously, they're media trained for this sort of thing. And obviously, after a race, yeah, that's understandable, which is why I kind of do my ones in off season or coming up to season. And yeah, I think the worst they can say is no, and just keep trying with other people. There's always going to be some people who are going to, like, you're even going to be approached one day. Like Lizzie McIntosh, for example. She was posting and posting and posting, and she went out, and without a doubt, she probably sent some emails, and she probably got turned down a few times. I think everyone does that. I've sent hundreds of emails, and some of the times I just get automated responses. I don't even get an actual response. But yeah, it's just getting yourself out there, and the worst they can say is no. And if they do say no, try again another way.
Yeah. All right. Just one more question, just to kind of round off our conversation.
Yeah.
What who is the driver that inspires you the most in any generation, in any series? Who who do you look up to, and who like drives that passion of racing for you?
Well, like I said, I've been watching touring cars since I should pretty much breathe. So probably Colin Turkington, because
Yeah.
he's very successful. F1, Michael Schumacher,
Mhm.
because he's fighting through and he's pushing through. And I think as well, Jan Mardenborough. And everyone would be
Yes.
like, oh, like Gran Turismo movie, like you probably only know him from Gran Turismo. No, I knew him before that. And I met him at the Silverstone 500 for British GT this year, which was
Oh
very,
my
very cool. And I have, like the Fitbits, they tell you what your heart rate was.
Yeah.
I was at 136. But
That's so funny.
but I was literally, because I went there with my friend Callum, and he was like, Liv, just calm down. I was like, I physically cannot calm down. Yeah, he had that accident at the Nürburgring, and
Mhm.
he came back from that. And I think that's just kind of the epitome of keep trying again. Like, you're going to have bad days, but they'll only make you stronger. But yeah, I think him as well, because he's seriously, seriously cool. And he's a really nice person as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. All right, we'll probably leave it there. Thank you so much for doing this episode with me today.
Well,
If
thanks.
you guys enjoyed it, let us know and we'll definitely try and have Olivia come back at some point.
I would be honoured. It's been amazing.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed it and we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.